it's me. For those of you that are new here, hi, I'm Ollie. I'm a writer. I'm currently writing my first novel, which is an epic science fantasy. And I have a confession to make. So I've been going on in recent videos about how I have this plan to finish my first draft of this novel by the end of March, which is like a month and a half from now. Oh God, no, it's half a month. No, okay, sorry, I'm getting my months confused completely. It's about a month and a half from now. And if you watch the last few videos, I had this great plan set in place where it wasn't too ambitious, but also it stuck me to a rigid schedule, and it would make sure that I had the book finished by the end of March. And it was all going so well, wasn't it? But then we went away for about a week and a half, and we got back a couple of days ago, and it's completely thrown off my entire schedule. So what happened was we went down to dog sit for family in Dorset, and we had a great time. It was great to be there. I'm not, that's not the problem. But the problem is I was not organised to take my schedule with me. I thought it was going to be fine. I don't really know what happened. I did a bit of writing, but only maybe about 100 words. And now I'm horribly, horribly behind. So I've been a bit too scared to check how far behind I am with this. I'm hoping I can claw my way back. I should be able to if I just get back into my routine. But yeah, we're at red alert at the moment, and I'm feeling a little bit panicked, on the edge of panic. Not quite there yet. I think it should be fine. I don't know. Join me as I check my schedule now, because I haven't checked yet, as I just said. And now I'm just wasting time, so I should check. I think I need to refresh this. This is Right Track, but oh dear. According to Right Track, which by the way is a really great word counting tracking tool, which I've been using. I think it was originally made for NaNoWriMo, but you can use it whenever you want. I'll put a link to it down in the description because it's really good. By this point, I should be at 53,000 words, just over 53,000 words, and I'm currently at 44,000, almost 45,000. So, yeah. So actually only 8,000 words behind, which I think is doable. It says I need to be writing about 655 words a day to keep up with my planned endpoint, which actually doesn't seem too bad. I think I might need to do a bit of overwriting on certain days, which I tend to do anyway. So, okay, that's okay. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I was panicking a bit, but we do need to catch up with it. I need to catch up with it because, I can't fall behind by any more. Otherwise, that will be really bad. This is my current writing space, by the way. It's the spare room that Rosie and I are sharing because we're about to start doing up the house at some point soon. So yeah, if you're wondering where my usual bookshelf is and all the nice things around my desk, they're not here. They're downstairs. But I've got this lovely pink flower here to keep me company. And this, which is really cool. Ooh. So if you saw the last video, you'll have seen that I revealed the title for the new novel I'm working on, which is Echo's Reach. I still don't know if I should have revealed the title or if I should reveal anything about the story because I want to traditionally publish it. And I'm just kind of nervous and I don't know enough about the process to know if that will affect how the publishing process goes or affect getting agents, that kind of thing. But I'm still glad that I did it because it's really nice to share it with everyone. And thanks everyone for your reactions, by the way. That was really cool. I was going to say, actually, thank you everyone for sticking around. I've got a few regular commenters now who seem to watch my videos the moment they go up. So I just want to thank you all out there for sticking with me. I hope to continue to entertain you or whatever it is you get out of these. I'm pleased that I can provide it. I know when I watch other writing vlogs, I get a sense of, I'm not alone in doing this kind of thing. And I'm not alone in sort of the certain anxieties that come with working on these kind of creative projects and things. So yeah, I hope I can provide something like that to someone else out there. But yeah, I have to not waffle today as I usually do because I have things to do and I really want to get back on track with things. It was actually really nice having about a week and a half off. I do feel somewhat kind of refreshed, but I'm kind of itching to get back into it now. It's fairly late in the day because I had some work to do this morning, but I'm going to do a little bit of writing here just to sort of catch myself up with where I am. And then I'm going to head out into some of my usual haunts into town and do a bit of writing. So yeah, let's go. It's the next day now. You can tell that because my beard is slightly tidier. Can you tell that? So yesterday went well, writing-wise. I did just over 1,000 words, which is more than I need to do every day, but I'm trying to do more than I need to do every day to catch up, if you see what I mean. Like I said yesterday. Something kind of interesting happened, which was that I found for really the first time in writing this draft of the story, which is basically the first draft, I found for the first time that I was actually getting stuck and I didn't really know what to do next, which was slightly worrying, but I think that's a natural part of it, I think, isn't it? I think it's a fairly common problem, as far as I can tell from reading other people's writing experiences. Writing the middle of a story is hard. Up until now, it's been really the beginning of the story, lots of exciting kind of setup and things, creating the characters and the setting, the whole world and the story itself. But the middle is where a lot of the weight is carried in the story. Basically, I found for the first time that I finished a chapter and I didn't really know what was going to come next, and I couldn't figure it out, but I knew I wanted to move on from where I was in the story. And so I did sort of sit there stressing about it for a while, not really knowing where to go. And it was a little bit disheartening, and I could have written more if I didn't get stuck. But I think that's just part of the process, isn't it? So I took some advice that I've seen other people do when they get stuck, but which I've never done before myself, which is to just skip it, basically, and move on to the next thing you want to write. I've tried to avoid doing that, especially in this draft of the story, because I think at heart I'm a pantser. I write the story in order as it comes to me. I don't really plan too much, but it was like hitting a brick wall or something. Like I just couldn't figure out how to get from where I was to where I knew I wanted to go, and it just felt like this big kind of drop off into the darkness, and I didn't really know what was going to come next. So because I knew where I wanted to go eventually, I decided to just kind of hop across that chasm and just skip to the next thing I wanted to write, basically. But I've tried to avoid doing that so far, especially on this draft, because at heart I'm a pantser, and I just create the story as I go, and it develops itself as I'm writing it. And that's worked so far, just up until now. So there's fighter jets going over my house. But yeah, I think it's worked. It's a little weird because I can feel that there's this gap before what I've written. Because so far, the characters have kind of developed themselves as I've written the story. So I'm a little concerned that if I've skipped ahead a bit, I'm going to be missing out on some kind of character development that hasn't happened yet. But, I can always go back and change it, can't I? So yeah, I've skipped ahead, and I think I've skipped what will probably end up being maybe 2 chapters, something like that, just to, keep myself moving. The most important thing at this stage is that I finish this first draft, and I can go back and fill in gaps later on. But yeah, apart from that sort of slight, not hiccup, but stumbling block, I guess, it's gone really well. I don't know if you saw in my last video, I think it was, I had printed out and spiral bound my book as it is at the moment, so I could give it to my grandma so she could read it. And she phoned me up this morning and said she had sat down with it at 9 o'clock yesterday morning and sat down for 2 hours and read the whole thing all the way through. And she loved it, of course. She's my grandmother, so she's not exactly unbiased, but she is a big reader. She is constantly reading. She reads all the time, and she loves reading the kind of story that this is as well. And I think she would be honest as well about her feedback. I think she would tell me if she didn't like it. She was a bit hesitant to give me one piece of feedback because I think she thought it would offend me. She said, one thing I will say is that it does read a little bit like a young adult's book, a little bit like almost a children's book. Is that sort of okay? Is that what you were aiming for? And I said, oh yeah, no, that's great. So she was really worried, I think, that she'd said the wrong thing. But no, she said exactly the right thing. So thank you very much, Grandma. So yeah, after sort of a week and a half of not doing much writing, and after yesterday when I sort of stumbled and didn't really know what to do next, it was a nice little confidence boost, Yeah, I'm feeling good. So I need to go and do some more writing now. I think I'm going to head out and do it. So yeah, let's go and do that. Okay, I'm back. That was good. It was like 1,000 words or so again, which again is more than I need to be doing per day. even though I'm behind. Still a bit weird having left that gap in the writing that I was talking about before, but I think it's for the best because otherwise I'll just be sat there forever and I'll have lost all momentum. And I feel like for me, keeping momentum is really important, especially in the first draft, because otherwise you lose track of what the tone is of the particular part of the story you're writing, I think, or I do anyway. And because I didn't really plan very much, it's really important to just keep moving. But yeah, that was fine. That was a good session. Bit of a tangent here, just because it's right in front of me. I finally started reading The Three Body Problem. Probably the last person in the world to actually read this. Everyone else is way ahead of me. But yeah, I just, I keep being recommended it, and it's really good so far. I'm like 3 pages in, but they're a good 3 pages. Mostly what I've been reading, this is kind of turning into a book talk video, which I didn't mean it to be, but I was actually already reading this, An Artist of the Floating World by Kazuo Ishiguro, which is really good. Even though what I write is fantasy and science fiction, I actually tend not to really read very much of it. I quite like exploring different genres and styles of writing and things. I guess because, I can take inspiration from them and bring them into the fantasy genre that I write in. But yeah, I'm just curious about all kinds of different types of writing, so this is really good. He also wrote, I think his most recent book is Clara and the Sun, which is recommended up there. And I also bought that book at the same time that I bought this one. But I was kind of avoiding that book for a while because, for entirely selfish reasons, because I actually wrote a story a few years ago, like almost 10 years ago now, actually. For my graduation film, I did film production at university, by the way. And for my graduation film, I wrote a script for a science fiction film. And the basic premise of this script that I wrote was that it was set in an antique shop sometime in the near future. And it was run by this lonely old man. And his only company was this holographic guy who was basically one of the products being sold in the antique shop. He was an outdated holographic kind of home assistant. And it was kind of a Pinocchio story, this old man was very lonely and his only company is this fake guy. He kind of became like a son to the old man over the years, and they kind of need each other because the holographic guy was company, almost like a son in the end for the old man, but the holographic guy couldn't touch anything, so he was kind of cursed to roam this antique shop like a ghost forever, not being able to touch things. But he could ask the old man to show him things, get things out and play with things with him. So it's kind of this nice little, I wanted it to be this nice little touching story, but kind of a father and son kind of thing, but with a sci-fi twist. And then a couple of years ago, Clara and the Sun came out, written by this Nobel Prize winning author, and it seemed like it's kind of very similar concept behind the story. And so I was maybe slightly annoyed with myself that I hadn't carried on writing it, but hey, I probably wouldn't have been able to do it justice the way that a Nobel Prize winning author could, And also, it's probably not the same story. I probably just need to get over myself a bit here. But still, that script that I wrote was a bit of a sore spot in the end because it didn't work out how I wanted it to. I also wasn't a good enough writer at that point to do it justice, I think. I think I've gotten over that, and I've bought that book and I'm really looking forward to reading it because it sounds really good. But I recommend this because I've almost finished this, so I can recommend it, right? I promised I wouldn't waffle, and now that's what I'm doing. I'm waffling now. Check the description for links to my writing. I have a couple of short stories on Kindle, Amazon Kindle, so check those out. If you want to get me a coffee, I have a Patreon. All the links are down there. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.